so keep that in mind.
Yeah, hey, forget I asked.
That'll definitely
Ew.
do.
Ew. Join the Discord.
It was the least fun I've ever had playing this game.
A small but vibrant and extremely humble community.
No, I've seen the sleeves, but I'm like, you said you're suiting up and then you put your sleeve on. Thank you for saying that.
Because I'm a demon on the keys.
Next thing I know, we're both dead. I immediately left the lobby.
In Vietnam.
What are they playing for? Are they playing to win?
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
Iron Ranger 218. Beer equals winning. Welcome to the Dropshot. Episode number 108.
What does that even mean? Iron, what does that even mean?
We don't know what it means. Episode 108 of the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, of course. Season 2, by the way. We are still relatively new to Season 2 of the program. And I'm experimenting with different introductory lines after, of course, the intro music. And last week I proposed, or last episode, in fact, I proposed, maybe I'll just find the dumbest fucking thing in chat and read it, right? So we experimented with that today. How was this for an intro? What are your thoughts, Tanner?
I mean, people miss that we are live. They do indeed miss it.
They do miss it. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, so he's trying to explain himself in chat. You said no beer because you wanted to win, Tanner, you fucking rat.
Yeah,
okay.
So if you drink beer, you'll win. That's the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's not word it in a way that says beer equals winning, though, right? It's fine. We'll let it slide. But that was tonight's worst Twitch comment of the evening. So congratulations, Jaron. You are the first worst Twitch chat statement. Thanks for being here, bud.
Yeah. Anything's fine, Jaron. Right? Anything's fine. So, welcome to the program, boys and girls. Yeah, I'm joined by Tanner, as you guys heard, and today we have a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, some fun and exciting patch notes changes, some fucking discoveries, some hidden patch notes, of course, and a lot of news items, including, of course, Season 2, but we will get to that a little later, but definitely during the program. Before that, of course, though, a couple announcements. First of all, welcome to our new gold patrons. Quentin H., One Unlucky MF, okay, and B. Robs. Much love, boys, and welcome to an upgrader, a real high IQ individual, as I like to say. Sam G. is upgraded from gold to Damascus, of course. Patreon.com/thedropshot is where you can join up. We've got 4 bonus eps a month. One of which we've done for February, 3 more of which are coming for the, doctoral math professors in the audience listening, of course. Yes. What was I going to say on this topic? Oh,
that's a serviceable list.
Is it? That's what I was going to say. Is it?
It's serviceable. We'll let it slide this week.
Okay.
I mean, don't ever let it happen again.
Yeah, let's put it this way. You guys are cutting it real fucking close. Yeah, you're cutting it real fucking close. And I almost just didn't start the program tonight. But alas, you've been saved by these 4 very kind, very smart souls. Once again, patreon.com/thedropshot, one word. It is, of course, the best way to support the program. Bonus eps. If you're a Damascus patron, we do hangouts every Friday. Typically, lately, we've been doing custom Warzone lobbies. There will come a time for some weeks where we don't do that, by the way. And if you're a gold patron and you're real used to the hangouts, if we're not doing Warzone, you can't come, right? You can't come. That's what she said. So, just keep that in mind. But for now, Warzone Customs is what we've been doing, and we let everyone come around there. But again, yeah, that's that. Also, Dave Downey Jr., thank you for the 3-month offline Primarino. Much love, dude. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Change your name, of course, but I appreciate you, and thank you, brother. So keep those things in mind. Tanner, anything from you?
Dry, just fucking dry again for what? 4 weeks in a row of being dry? I don't even know.
They're joining the Patreon, which is the best way to support the program. So it's fine. Don't sub.
I don't
to Tanner.
remember what it's like getting a Twitch sub, honestly.
You don't remember? Well,
I don't know what it's like. Yeah.
I need to open my window. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Don't be afraid to say literally anything, Tanner. God forbid. You do fucking any mouth sounds, right? You dumb piece of shit.
What?
Let's move on.
First
of all,
we'll edit it out.
For the hangout on Friday, Tanner, we talked about doing no snipers for the Warzone Customs, the Patreon patron Damascus hangout. Is that still what we're doing? Is that what we're leaning toward? Do I remember this correctly?
I think we were going to try it, not necessarily the whole evening. I was thinking we should at least try it for like 2 or 3 rounds, maybe. See how it goes. See what people think about it.
Okay.
Because I've had that request so many times, like, oh my fucking god, I wish we could do no snipers. So I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot. And I know there's going to be a select few people that are molding about it. I mean, I like sniping too, but it's customs. Let's just try it without snipers. We'll see how it plays, right?
I agree.
If you want to get headshotted from 400 meters, then after customs is done, just go play pubs.
Yeah, true. I think that's what we'll do, at least for a while, and I think it'll be fun. And also, if you're really good at sniping, you're probably good with an AR anyway. So like, don't get too mauled. You know, I don't meet many one-trick snipers, because if you can aim well with a sniper, you can aim well with a fucking AMAX or a RAM or something. So we're going to be trying that. We're going to keep the team captains. That seemed to go very well, and that is.
Oh, we're still doing that. Okay.
We're always doing that.
Got it.
Yeah. Also, updated the logo on the podcast apps and the Patreon bonus episodes apps. You may or may not have seen it, but don't be alarmed. It was on purpose. The new logo is instantiated.
Why would anyone be alarmed?
I don't know. I would be confused. I'm used to seeing one picture and it changes.
Move on.
I would be confused. So I thought it was worth mentioning. Show notes are a lot cleaner now as well. This is something I'd been meaning to do for quite a while. If you listen to the show regularly, you probably don't really look at the show notes. I rarely look at show notes for podcasts I listen to, but sometimes I do. And if I saw our old show notes, I would close the show notes and unsubscribe from the podcast and rate it 1 star on iTunes. I mean, they were abysmal. So I've cleaned them up quite a bit. They're a lot better, and they have some new information in there. So you can.
Should I take a live look at them?
You could take a live look at them and tell me what you think. Although they aren't live for anything but the very last episode. So. What
is this program called?
It's called the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
You can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Cool. So take a look there for sure. So.
Let's see here.
Anyways, yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, we will have a website timetable shortly. I've been very anxious about this. I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys about the website. So I messaged our guys, and they got back to me today, and they're having the same trouble with the fucking storms and bursting water pipes and no power and shit that like all of Texas has been having. So they've been a little delayed, but they told me they can hopefully get back to me shortly with like a rough timetable of when the website will be done, or at least when I'll have like an updated preview to show you guys. So again, hopefully Saturday I can give you guys something more concrete, but the website is coming. It's underway. It's pretty much out of my hands now, which is good. I've approved the final fucking thing. I sent all the copy, whatever. So that's going to be coming shortly. And I'm very excited. I lost excitement because it's been a while since like I had to give them input. But thinking about it, I'm like, oh wait, it's going to be done. That's going to be fucking awesome. I'm very excited. And then we'll get drop shipping and shit set up hopefully relatively shortly thereafter. It's certainly going to be easier because of a lot of contributions that we've gotten to the program. We can probably start the drop shipping like pretty much right away once the website's done. I have to do some digging into how to do it and shit, but we'll get that done shortly.
We have a meeting. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we have a board meeting scheduled. The Dropshot LLC board meeting, of course. Because I know a lot of you guys also have been asking for merch, and I'm just not going to do the things we have now. I'm going to wait till we can get the store on the site. So appreciate your patience, guys, and keep those things in mind. Also, this Saturday, All About Warzone Part 2. Mark your fucking calendars. I'm very excited for this. I'm going to go back and listen to our first All About Warzone episode of the program. It was, of course, an award-winning episode. It might have been our first ever award-winning episode of the program. Is that correct, Tanner? Do you know?
I think it was. That was probably the first award-winning episode.
It was. Do you remember doing it very much, what we talked about and shit?
I honestly don't. Do you not remember? Is that where you're going to go back and listen to it?
I have a very sketchy memory of what it was like.
I should probably also go back and listen to it.
I remember bits and pieces.
I should.
Like, I remember we had talked about, for example, overkill first loadout and then like ghost or restock second loadout.
Yeah. And
we were like, and a bunch of people were like, oh, that's such good information. And now like everyone knows that, for example. And then, we were talking about like our loadout setups, what perks we use. So it is about time for an All About Warzone Part 2, because that information is going to be updated, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be updated. We have a lot more knowledge now. We have a lot more hours in Verdansk. I've been watching the top fucking Warzone broadcasters for hours on end in the past month or so.
We'll get a job.
Well, I have one. It's called watching its_iron on twitch.tv. This is going to be a very, 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 very fucking good episode. For those of you who are patrons, this is going to be kind of like our Warzone brainstorm, except it's going to be way more detailed, way longer, and we're not going to be asking questions. We're going to be like giving like answers, really. And I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on what is going to be new for Part 2 besides like loadouts and shit, obviously?
I feel like just overall strategy in general.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not, we still haven't gotten a map change or anything like that. So, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of specifics we can get into. I already have some things running through my head. Of course, I'm not going to give them out right now.
Yeah.
But I think we have a lot of ideas. We got to work on that tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to get started on that tomorrow. But I have a ton of ideas. I mean, a lot of the stuff we had said in our first edition of the episode was good information, but some of it's outdated and some of it was just wrong, I think. So this is going to be really fun. It's going to be really interesting. And again, we've learned so much since then. So mark your calendars. Saturday, it's going to be like almost a borderline special edition episode on February 20th. It's a borderline special edition episode because I'm very excited to do another All About Warzone. And also we have, a little plan in the works that kind of revolves around this. Tanner, we had talked about it.
Are you talking about the...
Yeah. So we're going to do...
Got it.
But first, we have to do an All About Warzone episode. So that, of course, when we do, it has to be after that. So that'll be coming shortly after All About Warzone Part 2. So if you're excited for the special event surprise thing, it's contingent on this episode. So highly recommend be here live. It's going to be a blast.
A lot of good Saturday episodes upcoming. Like the next 4 Saturdays, I feel like are going to be banger eps. So
yeah. For sure. Very good Saturday eps incoming. So we're taking a little bit of a break from Q&A, at least for a while, because we have a lot of good Saturday eps planned. Also, speaking of Q&A, going forward, we are going to start vetoing questions now. And when we veto them, we're not going to read them and then veto. I will just delete them from the document. for a couple reasons. Number one, we're getting bored of some of the questions that we're getting that are all in the same vein. You know, talking about dicks and ass, you know, every week gets old. And we've gotten some feedback, let's put it that way, from a number of people that like, okay, it's childish. It's childish. I'm not saying we'll never answer those questions, but we're going to start vetoing just some questions in general. So if your question doesn't get read and you thought it should have, we ignored it on purpose, right? We ignored it on purpose. We excised it from the document and we will not be answering it. We didn't forget. We didn't miss it, right? We explicitly read your question and then said, nah, and then deleted it. That's what happened, okay? Because as we always say on this program, this is not a democracy. This is an autocracy, and we will do what the fuck we want, okay? So I'm not saying we're not going to, you know, veto every question that's not related to Call of Duty. It's not what I'm saying at all. But there are certain questions we're just getting bored of, honestly, and they're not super well received. So when they're both boring to us and also not well received, no reason to do them. So we'll start skipping them. With that said, feel free to ask whatever you want in the Q&A in the Discord. You don't have to censor yourself. If you want to ask us a question, no matter how, whatever, no matter what it's related to, including dicks and asses. If you want to ask it, ask it. I'm just saying I might not answer it, but don't get mad. I'm not going to get mad if you asked a question that I don't want to answer. I'm not going to hold it against you. It won't be any ill will like that. But again, we reserve the right to start vetoing. And this is, again, back to my first point. This will help us get a little more caught up, too, if we can skip some questions. Because we're in, like, December of 2020. And at this rate, we're just going to always be, like, 6 months behind. And it's just, especially since we're taking, like, a month break from Q&A questions, we're going to have to just start skipping shit. And some questions might be even really good, and we're going to skip it anyway in the interest of getting more caught up.
Yeah.
So keep those things in mind. Again, ask whatever you want. I'm not going to get mad. Just saying we might not answer it. So.
Except for Steel Switch questions, we'll answer all of his, of course.
That's fake news. Absolute fake news. So, anyways, keep that in mind. Sorry, Tyler. Yeah, well, anyways. All right. Any other announcements, TDS?
Nope.
Okay. With that said, if you were listening for the jingle, Bait and Switch with 100 bits. Let's go, dude. Thanks again for the raid the other night, TDS. You're welcome, Bates. Thanks for the bits, brother. Thanks for the bits to me. Fuck you, Tanner. Fuck you, bitch. Thanks for the raid. I'll take the biddies. Let's go. Okay. Baits and Switch, fantastic maneuver there. I love to see it, and I love the support. I appreciate the 100 bits, brother. Much appreciated. All right, now, if you're listening for the jingle, here it is. All right. Now, again, as I said, big ep today, lot to talk about. First, playlist updates, not much to say here. This playlist update, will be going live on February 18th, tomorrow, for Cold War. Throwback Mosh Pit, which is Express, Raid, and Nuketown only. Pretty interesting, actually.
That's a decent playlist.
Yes. I've been waiting for a Throwback Mosh Pit playlist, but I guess they only had 2 maps, so it kind of makes sense. But this is a playlist you could play, for sure. If you're sniping, you can play all these maps. If you're not, you can play 2/3 of them, because don't play Express if you're not using a sniper, of course. But all in all, there are 3 very solid maps. So that's coming to Cold War, which is pretty cool. Especially if you're like a Black Ops 2 fan, you might come. So that's coming.
Okay.
Also, snipers only mosh pit.
Back.
So snipers only mosh pit. So
Cool. That's fun, I'm sure, in Cold War.
So if you're on a controller, queue up for that. And then gunfight blueprints, which is, we see that all the time, and it doesn't matter, of course. So that's coming tomorrow, February 18th. By the time you listen to this, it's live. So that's the playlist updates for Cold War. Nothing new for Warzone other than cosmetic changes. There's, plunder trios, and they named it like Menage a Trois or some other Valentine's Day kind of shit. So anyways, on to patch notes. February 13th, there was a patch, not reading all of it, but a couple little points. Most of it was bug fixes and shit. The important things are this: RCXD was banned in League play. Of course it should be, by the way. How good would an RCXD be in Search and Destroy? Did you ever do that, Tanner? Did you ever use that? Did I ever do that? Or was that banned in COD 4 too?
Of course not. You couldn't use any streaks like that. No. Do they allow streaks in Cold War in CDL? Are you serious?
In the League play playlist. I don't know.
See, that's CDL. Dumb to me. That's dumb to me. The CDL, what is, I don't know. We don't watch CDL, as you can tell. I feel like CDL has streaks.
I don't think it does this year.
Okay.
I'm not positive.
Interesting.
But yeah, we haven't watched it. I'm
would be
positive. There's no.
I don't know why it wasn't banned in League play from the start. They must have forgotten about it, I guess. I don't know.
I'm 100% sure, because I remember when we covered this last week, we were saying League play playlist is less restrictive than CDL.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons, because they have score streaks. So at least the RCXD is banned. I can't believe they overlooked this, but anyway, it's banned now. So that's good if you're playing League play. Also, friendly fire is enabled in this mode, so you can kill your teammates. But if you kill two teammates, if you start shooting another friendly, it'll ricochet and you'll take the damage. Fine. That seems perfectly fine to me.
It seems fair.
Yeah.
Seems serviceable, as they say.
It seems serviceable, as some might say. Also, there were some updates to League play. Placement matches were incorrectly ranking people, as we talked about again last week. People were like knifing only, losing every match, and getting placed as like scump tier or something.
Yeah, and then all the pros were getting placed in like the lowest level.
Yeah. So they said, Treyarch said, this was due to some back end error, whatever the fuck that means, which they have supposedly fixed. So that means that if you're like whatever, if you're supposed to be higher or lower, when you log in next, it'll reflect that. And placement matches should work as they're expected to going forward. Also, they fixed a bug where people with perk greed automatically got ghost, even if they didn't have it equipped. Which seems pretty broken, by the way. So they fixed that now, I guess. That would be having 7 perks, by the way. If you had perk greed plus ghost, you'd have 7 perks. Seems pretty good. So
it's not bad.
They fixed this bug, so that's that. Also, a fix to Warzone. A couple things here. Fixed issue causing hit markers to not appear consistently. This seems to be true. That was a problem. I haven't experienced it since this fix, which was on the 12th. Weapon XP not awarding as intended in multiplayer in MDub. Fixed issue with UI elements on the loadout menu, and updated Valentine's weekend playlist name. So the big thing here, of course, is the hit markers are again as consistent as they have ever been.
I never had that issue either. Although I feel like it was only happening for like one day and like only a few hours that day. It was a little odd. I saw people talking about it on Twitter, and after that day, I never heard anything else about it again, and I never experienced it. So I wonder what happened there.
Yeah.
Cool. Good talk.
Sorry, I had to get a beverage. Yeah, I think it was only a problem for like literally a day or two.
Yeah.
So it seems to be fixed. So that's good. You know, giving credit where credit is due. It seems like now that Raven is in charge of Warzone, shit gets fixed more quickly. That seems to be the trend.
You think?
Don't you? Like you just said, like that hit marker thing.
I would say let's look at the seamless transition, but I don't think any of that has to do with Raven, to be honest. I think Raven was just handed just a steaming pile of shit.
Yes.
on a nice plate, and they said, "Here,
figure it out."
Joe Sykov, Ashton Williams, they had a meeting. They said, "Here, have fun. See you in a few years, dipshits," and fucking bounced and just left them with all these bugs, right?
They deposited their yearly bonus of like $300 billion or whatever the fuck they get paid. Yeah.
Joe Sykov took a warm shit on a plate and sent it to him. So
shout out to
it
Joe
does seem like
Apricot.
it's getting fixed. Like the stim glitch and whatnot. If it was Infinity Ward, it probably would have taken like an extra week every time to fix those. Now, why has it not just been fixed entirely? Well, of course, that's Raven's fault. Just fix it, right? But I think they are handling things quicker.
Yeah, for sure. So that's good. Good to see. And now we're on to hidden patch notes, which is, of course, a fucking Dropshot specialty, because we haven't been doing this podcast for a game that has patch notes at work that are reflective at all of the game state, right? So let's get into that. This first set of patch notes, very deeply amusing, actually. And this is courtesy of JGod. I will link to this resource as well as everything else we mentioned in the show
Friend
notes.
of the pod.
JGod, of course, friend of the program. Shout out to JGod, whom we rely on quite a bit, along with 3 other people / entities. JGod released a YouTube video talking about some interesting findings. So, number 1, he was testing out the CAR 98, which is a marksman rifle in the marksman rifle category of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 Game of the Year Edition and in Warzone. Different stocks, we have just learned, will impact how quickly you can recenter after holding your breath and exhaling. So you guys know how when you're sniping, you like hold, L3 or whatever to like...
Let's just... So you hold shift. You hold shift.
You hold shift to steady aim, and your guy holds his breath. Yeah. Now, I was, of course, a sniper in Ramadi. So this is what we did in real life, of course, is I would hip fire
stolen
my
valor, stolen valor. Stolen valor alert. That's TOS right there. That's got to be TOS.
Yeah,
it must be.
It might be. Well, in case you guys didn't catch on, I was not in Ramadi. A Barrett 50 cal weighs more than I do, so I definitely wasn't handling one of those. Anyways, when you hold your breath when you're sniping, and then you hold it for too long and your guy goes, oh, and he just can't do it anymore, and then you have all the idle sway, right? If you have certain stocks, you will exhale and then recenter more quickly than with other stocks.
Interesting.
So certain stocks actually help this, which is like some hidden stat that no one knew about because no one thought to test something so like obscure, but actually impactful, I would say. Which is interesting. The precision comb for the CAR, for example, was the best at doing this. And that's the aiming stability stock. I would venture to say aiming stability in general on sniper rifles probably helps with this recentering mechanic.
Yeah.
But that's not all.
But wait, there's more?
But wait, there is absolutely more. This is deeply amusing. There are weapon perks for Call of Duty MW weapons. So some of them are sleight of hand. They take an attachment slot. Others are frangible wounding. One of them is presence of mind. And what presence of mind does is it allows you to hold your breath for longer. Now, once upon a time, without presence of mind, you could hold your breath for 4.5 seconds with a sniper rifle. If you had the perk, double that, you could hold your breath for 9 seconds. However, at some point, if you use presence of mind today, you can hold your breath for 60 seconds. For 60 seconds.
Yikes.
And your crosshair won't move at all. Which seems genuinely really good. JGod in this video was saying it's probably not going to become meta and it's probably not worth using, but he didn't really go into why. And I'm not so sure. Do you think that this could be worth using over, for example, an aiming stability stock on a Car 98, Tanner? In like Warzone, maybe?
Yeah. This is an interesting question. I don't know where I stand on it. I do think it could be good, but at the same time, I don't know. Yeah, if you're using that aiming stability stock, it's a precision comb, right?
Yes. Yes.
The precision comb. There's hardly any sway anyways. But then at the same time, I guess theoretically, if instead you drop that and you use presence of mind, you can just hold steady for 60 seconds straight.
And even more steady, yeah.
And even more steady. And then also, I think, does precision comb hurt your ADS? I don't think it hurts it. It's just not as good as the other stock. That's what it is. As a precision or the sport comb, something like that.
Yeah.
There's another stock that ADS is quicker. So I don't know. This actually, on paper, this sounds good. Now, there's a lot of times, though, think like if you play more aggressive or something. There's a lot of times where you're running somewhere, you're quickly ADSing, and you're trying to get a quick shot off. Now, at a time like that, having the precision comb is going to be way better because you're going to scope in really quickly, like barely before you hold your breath, or maybe, you hold your breath right as you're ADSing. You get a quick shot off. So presence of mind, I don't think is necessarily going to help there because sometimes you're trying to get a shot off so quickly that you won't even have time to hold your breath, and your idle sway will be kind of messing up that shot potentially.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like that's a long shot though. So in my mind, if you're a recon Raz and you just, sit on top of a roof or something, then presence of mind actually makes a ton of sense for you compared to precision comb maybe. I don't know. Give it a shot. I don't know if I'll be attempting this. Maybe I'll try it. I'll possibly try it tonight. I won't. But it could be okay. I think JGod pretty much summed it up. It'll never be meta just because people, I think, will just kind of stray away from it for some reason, even if it's good. It just seems like one of those things where it's like somebody's just going to think, oh, why would I run that? Even if it's 60-second hold breath. There's just no point in running it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of people in chat are echoing your sentiment there. I think for the car, it would never really make sense to run because it is like kind of like a fast-paced, aggressive sniper. Like if you're camping,
not meant for like really long range.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're camping a downtown rooftop, you shouldn't be using a car anyway, really, because all of those shots you're going to be trying to hit are like, most of the shots are going to be like real long distance, and you don't want a car for that. But maybe for like an HDR, you could hold your breath for your entire 5-round mag, like actually. But then you would still have to worry about recoil. So then the idle sway wouldn't matter, or the breath hold wouldn't matter. I don't know either, but it is interesting. It's not terrible, and it is perhaps worth investigating.
So just so we can confirm to everybody, this is only for the Car 98, right? This does not affect the other sniper rifles.
Presence of mind is all sniper rifles.
But that bug,
we'll
call
all
it a
snipers.
bug.
Yeah, for all snipers.
Is for...
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll link to the video so you guys can watch. But yeah, that changes things. Because what about like,
what about an HDR?
HDR?
Which I've been using often.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's a thought. The thing about the HDR.
That's a thought.
Is the ADS time is so
fucking
dog
abysmal.
Shit.
Yeah.
I use every ADS attachment possible, one of which is the stock.
Yeah. I use the stock, the laser.
All
which
of it.
are the only two, I guess. Yeah.
Stock, laser. Yeah, those are
That's
the only two, actually.
So let's not say
so never mind.
It's the only two.
So you could run maybe presence of mind, but you'd have to drop a variable zoom scope, which a lot of people don't use anyway. So you could do that, and then your ADS time would actually be faster.
That scope is pretty nasty, though.
It's super useful. Yeah, the 12X is super useful. So I don't know. It's worthy of consideration. The main point here, though, is honestly, I think now that JGod's made a video on it, it'll get patched pretty soon, because this obviously was not intentional. So don't get used to it.
These guys have been making videos about all the screwed up Cold War attachments for the last,
It's a fair
month?
point. That's a fair point.
And almost none of them have changed. So.
That is, of course, a fair point. Yes. Okay, so you might be right. But, yeah. the main reason I wanted to bring this up is just so you guys know, and you could test it if you want, but also like it's funny. Like they haven't, like what are they doing to like change an M-dub weapon perk? Like how do they fuck that up? It's not like they're altering anything else, or at least as far as we know, with respect to modern warfare weapons. So it's very interesting that this got broken. And I think this largely speaks to how much of an absolute clusterfuck this game state is right now, from a developmental side, from a publishing side. Lots of bugs, lots of weird dog shit, lots of attachments not working as they're expected to. And when they go into the files and rectify some of these problems, they inevitably break other shit that they don't intend to, such as this presence of mind. They did not expect this to happen. They obviously didn't do it on purpose. So, you know, if you're holding out hope that all the Cold War attachments are going to work, don't hold your breath. Because in real life, you're not going to have presence of mind, and you can't hold your breath that long. I'm very proud of that little joke there. But anyways, that video will be in the show notes. And let's move on to XclusiveAce. Also put out a video, which is in the show notes as well, about the FFAR in Verdansk in Warzone. And he was doing some testing, some updated testing. This is a very recent video. And I have a couple images for you. So number one, this is the barrels. Okay. We got the barrels here. Wait. I'm just lost in the sauce right now, boys. There we go. Okay. For the FFAR, everyone was using the task force, which gave you 10% range, 50% velocity. And this was changed pretty recently, apparently, because now the reinforced heavy is the barrel to use. Because it also gives 50% velocity, but it gives 30% range instead of 10% range. So change your FFAR barrel to the reinforced heavy. There is item number 1. And then item 2 is very interesting, and I'm very curious to get Tanner's thoughts on this. Cold War barrels, irrespective of any other attachment, have their own recoil patterns, which is fun and exciting. Okay. Now for MDub, some barrels will make your recoil control better, which will change your recoil pattern. But the Cold War barrels, all of them have a different recoil pattern. And I'm showing the picture here.
Vastly different, actually.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Like not, some of these aren't even closed.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
And none of these are all just barrels. They're not underbarrel. They're not fucking anything else. They're not grips. These are barrels, which ostensibly don't change your recoil at all, but wait, they do a lot. So this example here that I've shown on screen is for the FFAR barrels. Honestly, I wouldn't pay too much attention to this because range and velocity are far more important, even if they fuck up your recoil a little bit.
Yeah, you can use attachments easily to counter that recoil.
Yes. 100%.
Just be better, right?
Yeah.
Hold down on your mouse.
So the reason I bring this up is not to tell you to change your barrel based on an optimal recoil pattern, but merely to illustrate the fact that the Cold War attachments are broken beyond belief. And they are doing even this, changing recoil for just a barrel, which we never expected prior to this. So fascinating. And you guys can take a look at that again at the video in the show notes, but go ahead, Xander.
Well, and also from that picture, if I'm reading this correctly, so reinforced has not the best bullet velocity, but good bullet velocity. It has an added damage range, and it had about the second least amount of recoil from all the FFAR barrels, right? I think the takedown recoil pattern looked a little bit easier to control, but not much. So reinforced heavy, far and away the best barrel to use on the FFAR now.
For Warzone, 1,000%. Yes. Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah, I guess that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So for that reason too. So we got lucky here. The reinforced happens to also be like among the best recoil patterns for the barrels. So keep that in mind. Also stocks right here. He went through like every attachment. I'm not going to show every attachment. He goes way more in depth in his video. So check that out. But I just wanted to go through some important attachments. So that's why we went through the barrel. That's why we're going through the stocks now. And you can see the radar pad is just disgustingly broken. It gives you plus 40% ADS strafe speed. And also it tightens up your hip fire spread by 20%. That's why the FFAR is so disgusting, guys. The ADS strafe speed is so gross, and it helps your hip fire. It tightens it up. It's
you basically
obscene.
you ADS and you sprint around the map and also have very little recoil with
Yes.
an extremely high damage output, like the fastest time to kill up close.
Yep.
I like the duster pad. It's just nothing.
It just doesn't
Either of
do
those
anything.
two things.
Yeah.
God, I love XclusiveAce, bro. Like these little images he makes, they're just so clear and easy to read. Like a lot of people are really good at getting this info out, but the ease for like the average viewer just to look at these images, oh, it's so nice, dude. I love it.
Yeah, 100%.
He's fucking fantastic, actually.
Yeah, shout out to XclusiveAce, friend of the pod, of course. Make sure to subscribe to him. And again, check out his video because he goes into way more detail on like every attachment that I'm not going to here.
Yeah.
Those are like some of the important ones. And then if you don't care about any of this shit and you're not a nerd, TLDR, this is the best loadout. It's on the screen. You guys can take a hold Alt and press print screen on your keyboard if you're at your computer. If not, I'll read it to you. Agency suppressor, reinforced heavy barrel, field agent underbarrel grip, 50 round fast mag ammo, and then the Raider stock as your stock, obviously. That's the FFAR loadout. Most people had been using the Task Force barrel, which is still good. Reinforced heavy is just better.
I thought a lot of people lately were using a different grip though, like the bruiser grip.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get into that as well. That's because True Game Data covered that. So we'll get into that in a second. But
got it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So again, there are way more stats. Check the video. And now moving on to True Game Data. We're going to come back to the FFAR. His video is also linked in the show notes. As we've talked about, we've been talking about this guy a lot lately. Big fan of his. He's a real fucking nerd, which we love to see. He does all the spreadsheets just like XclusiveAce does, just like JGod does. Super accurate data. Handsome kid too, by the way. Built handsome kid. Have you seen his YouTube videos, Tanner?
True Game Data?
Yeah.
He's a good looking young man for sure.
He does not look like the type of guy that knows how to make an Excel spreadsheet. He's too handsome for that.
Yeah.
You know? Handsome,
Yeah.
fucking yoked young man. Or older than me, man. I don't know. But anyways, shout out to True Game Data. He gave us a lot of good details as well on Cold War weapons in Warzone. And first of all, this little chart here. So I'm going to link to his video with all this info in the show notes. But I'll just show you guys here for a second. Cold War scopes and whether or not they have glint. He tested all of them. So the default sniper scope for every Cold War sniper will have glint. The SUSAT multi-zoom will also have glint. I don't know what this scope does because I've never even thought to use it. So this probably doesn't matter. SUSAT multi-zoom. I don't know what this is. I think it's
it sounds like a big don't care.
I think it's like a variable zoom of like 2 and like 10 or something. I think that's what this is. Because there's also custom zoom, which is like 1 to 10. And then ultra zoom, which is like 2 to 20. Which will crash your game. It crashes mine. Also, you don't need 20x. But
is that really?
I think so. I've tried it a couple times. Anyways,
PC's just shit.
The default sniper scope will give you glint. The SUSAT multi-zoom will also give you glint. And nothing else will. And another important piece here, guys. The Axial Arms 3X scope zooms in precisely as much, identical to the Car 98 sniper scope, which is 7X.
Yeah.
He tested it. So if you wanted to set up a Tundra or a Pellington like a Car 98, use the Axial Arms 3X because it zooms identical amounts. So you'll have the same zoom as you do on your car. Except you won't have glint. Pretty interesting. Bezels aren't quite as clean, but it's still pretty good. And worth using. Have you used Cold War snipers much? And what scopes were you using, Tanner?
Well, I used the Tundra for a while. I remember I was using that. I was using, I think, I was using the default sniper scope. Yeah. I tried the 3 times because I know JGod said that like weeks ago, and I tried it, but I swear to God, it did not zoom in as much. I don't know. I didn't like it very much on the Tundra. That's the only gun I've tried it on, though. So I know you're really liking it with the Pellington. You were playing really well with it when we were playing with Bango yesterday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were fucking ripping a lot of kids. And even when I was watching you, when I was dead, like, I would watch you zoom in and I'd be like, okay, I feel like that's zooming in way more than it did with the Tundra. Like, I swear to God, there's a difference between the Pellington and the Tundra.
It might be, dude. Who knows?
It's entirely possible, actually.
Unironically possible.
But JGod supposedly did the testing for all of them, and I think they were all the same on all the snipers. But it just didn't feel that way to me. But yeah, your loadout was pretty nutty with that Pellington, so which is surprising because the Pellington seems like a dog shit sniper.
It does. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into
it more. Yeah.
So
the only ones I've used are the axial arms 3 times, and the default sniper scope. And the 3 times did not seem like it zoomed as much to me.
Yeah, and you were using it with the Tundra, so it's possible that's the case. Now, if you're listening to this and you're saying, I literally don't believe that a 3x on a Pellington zooms the same as a 7x on a car, I have the video linked in the show notes. Go watch it. He literally shows that. He shows it side by side. They are exactly the same. The same zoom,
really?
The same peripheral vision, the same field of view. It's exactly the same. Yes. 100%.
This is another one of those things that's crazy to me. So they thought of doing this whole Warzone transition thing, but like when developing Cold War, they never thought to make things like that the same, like the weapon zoom, even things like when it comes to recoil on weapons. Like it's very obvious to me that they didn't think of the Cold War integration or anything else prior to Cold War being released.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what they say. If they had that idea set in stone, then why did they develop Cold War this way? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it's not even that technically that the scopes are broken. It's just in Cold War, those scopes must zoom in further, I'm assuming. And so in Cold War, they zoom in further than they would like in multiplayer and Warzone.
Yeah.
In Modern Warfare multiplayer and Warzone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's very interesting stuff. But we'll get to the Pellington in a little bit. But again, that's a little chart of the glint here, and then also the lasers, the body attachments on the Cold War guns in Warzone. Most of this shit you should never use anyways. But like for example, the steady aim laser not visible ever. SWAT 5 milliwatt laser on Cold War guns also never visible, which is different than the MW 5 milliwatt laser, which is very visible, super visible. Some might say omega visible. So that's a little advantage for like a Cold War SMG, for example. Maybe a Bully Boy, maybe a little Cold War MP5. You can use the 5 milliwatt to tighten up that hip fire, and it will never be visible, so you won't have to worry about exposing yourself. And then some things are always visible, like the flashlight and the Tiger Team Spotlight, which literally you should never use, along with the target designator and the Ember sighting point. The Ember sighting point is visible when you're not ADS'd. However, according to XclusiveAce, this is in an old video, I don't have the reference for this one, but according to XclusiveAce, the Ember sighting point will help your hip fire spread more than the 5 milliwatt laser will on Cold War pistols. Why?
That's very specific.
It is very specific because it's not that way for SMGs. Why? Don't know. You know who else doesn't know? Treyarch, Raven, Activision, and Infinity Ward. So
yeah,
that's a weird little find, huh?
Yeah, it sure is.
So if you're running around Verdansk with, for example, akimbo Cold War magnums with a 5 milliwatt laser, change that to an Ember sighting point. It will always be visible if it's akimbo because it's visible when not ADS'd, but it's tighter hip fire spread. And those things shred if you hit them both at the same time. So change that for sure. Anyways, moving on here. And as Tanner was referring to, True Game Data also tested some underbarrels for some of the Cold War weapons, not all of them. And for here, we have the FFAR underbarrel. Okay. So the left three little plots here are with nothing under the barrel. The middle three are for the bruiser, and then the right three are for the field agent. And then he measured how tall all of the magazine is in number of pixels. Bruiser grip helps by far the most with vertical recoil.
Yeah,
however,
by a lot.
field agent helps the most with horizontal recoil by a lot. I'll have the video linked in the show notes. You guys can look for yourself. This one is sort of subjective, and I think some people might prefer the bruiser because it helps a lot more with vertical recoil on the FFAR than the field agent. However, field agent helps a lot more with horizontal than the bruiser does, and therefore I think the field agent underbarrel is actually the better one. Even though it doesn't help as much with vertical, it helps a lot more with horizontal, which is more important generally because people are taller than they are wide. So if you're recoiling up or down, you're still going to be on the person's body. Whereas if you're going side to side, you're going to go from their belly button to missing. So horizontal recoil control in general is better. What are your thoughts on this, Tanner, looking at this picture?
I don't think the bruiser horizontal recoil is that horrible compared to field agent. I mean, field agent is undeniably better, but I don't think it's as bad really as kind of you're making it sound here. I mean, even honestly, there's not a massive difference between running no grip and running field agent grip, but it's like there's no other attachment you need to run. So it's like, of course, you run a grip on the FFAR anyways, since the rear grips don't work anyways. But I think personally that bruiser grip is going to be easier to control.
Interesting.
Because I feel like most of the FFAR engagements, people know it's more of a kind of a closer range AR, close to medium range. And so I think having vertical recoil control is going to be better actually for up close engagements like that. I don't know. I mean, yeah, the horizontal recoil compared to a field agent isn't, I don't think, that big of a difference to make it that much worse. And doesn't bruiser also give you the added ADS speed and everything?
I don't believe so. No.
Or the added what was it?
Well, not melee speed. I don't know if you're going to say that. That's what the attachment says, which of course means it's not true.
I swear you move quicker ADS with a bruiser grip. Maybe I'm thinking of another grip.
Oh, ADS straight speed. Interesting.
ADS, like, I think it's a big difference. I'm not positive. I thought that was true, though. I don't know.
Yeah, if that's true, the bruiser would be better. But he didn't say anything about this, and he recommended field agent. I feel like if bruiser increased ADS straight speed, he wouldn't have done that. And he would know. So fake news is what I'm telling you. I think you've got it mixed up for something else. But anyways, interesting. So again, videos linked in the show notes. You guys can go look at the recoil pattern yourselves. I'll put it on screen one more time here. You guys can decide for yourself what's better. But what is indisputable is that the pick for the FFAR is in between bruiser and field agent. So keep that in mind. And he did this for a couple of other guns. XM4, which you should never use, so I don't know why he tested this, but here's the comparison there. No grip, just awful. Bruiser, a lot better. And then field agent looks almost the same as no grip. So bruiser is the clear choice on this image. But again, don't put down the XM4 for sure.
Yeah.
And then M16, which is another meta gun, which is worthy of discussion for sure. So taking a look here. Again, no grip, bruiser, and field agent. These are the three that are like worth mentioning. The bruiser and field agent are the two, I should say. That's why he hasn't included all of them, because the other ones are shit. In this case, bruiser looks way fucking better than field agent. What are your thoughts on this? Way tighter burst. So the 3 bullets in a burst are way tighter with the bruiser than the field agent.
A lot better. I mean, on some of these, the bullets are actually overlapping because they're that close.
Yes.
So yeah, bruiser definitely the best for an M16 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and yeah, he even, of course, did the mathematical equations here and determined it is strictly the best to use. So yeah, bruiser grip for the M16, which the M16 does shred pretty hard, by the way.
I was using it in solos when I got a win in solos. My solo win when I won in Verdansk in the Battle Royale solos today. I was using the M16 in Warzone, yes, in Verdansk.
Nice,
Call of Duty
okay.
Warzone, yeah. I was using the M16 with a bruiser grip, yeah. It's just it's so dumb. And it's really
I just
good
love
for
running
people on head
snipers,
glitches,
but
too.
M16 shreds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How many kills did you get? 4?
Good guess.
Was it a bronze 4?
I got 5 kills, and it was a platinum lobby. I think it was like platinum 1 or platinum 2. Wasn't the best lobby in the world, but
platinum lobby. Yeah,
well, we won. We got there.
Holy shit! How bad are you to get a platinum lobby? My God.
Okay, well, queue solos during the day and see what kind of lobbies you get. I get mostly diamonds, but
Diamond
I got
1.
The Treyarch and Activision and Infinity Ward blessed me this afternoon with a platinum lobby. Thank God. And I rolled them. So anyways, bruiser grip on the M16. Video will be linked in the show notes, so shout out to him. Also, to go back to the Pellington, he tested this out, and the results were super interesting. It is a long video. It's like 20 minutes long, and it's kind of outside the scope of the program to get into it, because there's a lot of detail, and a lot of it's like pretty subjective, but he also brings a lot of data and a lot of values, like bullet velocity, damage, rate of fire, etc. I'm going to link to the video because I think it's worth watching, and you can get his perspective and you can see his data. But again, we're not going to like explore the whole thing. I will tell you the long and short of it though. It's basically a hybrid car SPR, and he recommends it over the Car 98. And this is someone whose favorite sniper is a Car 98. He said he has like 1,000 hours using the car, and he's like, well, the Pellington's just like,
well, it doesn't have 1,000 hours.
I thought that's what he said. Maybe I'm bugging. I don't know.
I mean, he's just wrong.
Yeah, maybe he's wrong. Whatever. He's playing a lot with the car, and he's saying that Pellington's like just better. Like a custom Pellington if you kit it out and shit. Based on all these like kind of variables. Like one of the things he was saying, for example, is when you're ADS'd and you shoot, there's very little recoil. And while you're rechambering, your reticle stays almost in the exact same spot. So that makes it easier to track people moving for follow-up shots. Whereas with like a car, there's like a lot of wobble. So it's like a little more difficult to track them because they might go out of your reticle. Whereas with the Pellington, that doesn't happen because the rechamber sway is like tiny. Yeah. That's one example of the things he was talking about. But yeah, super, super interesting. This is the video where he shows the Axial Arms 3X compared to the Car 7X, by the way, where they're identical. So
do you have the Pellington set up off the top of your head?
Yes. Wrapped suppressor, combat recon barrel, bipod underbarrel, 7-round regular mag, ammo, and then Axial Arms 3X scope, which is the same as a car sniper scope.
Doesn't bipod only help with crouched or prone recoil though, or does it do all of it in Cold War weapons or for Cold War weapons? So
what he said in this video is that all of the underbarrels are it's very difficult to tell if they do anything at all. Yeah. But he said he felt with the bipod it did the most, like he noticed it the most with the bipod, but it doesn't really do much. But there's just nothing else to run.
There's nothing else to run. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. He was saying you could also drop the bipod for maybe one of the stocks for like faster strafe speed, but he didn't go into too much detail on how much that improves strafe speed or anything. And he recommended the bipod, which is why I'm going with it. Because I think, again, the big advantage of the Pellington is the minimal sway while rechambering. So I want to keep a bipod, even if it doesn't do that much, just to keep that benefit.
Got it. Yeah. And it just reloads so quickly compared to a car also.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Good talk, though.
I mean, it's literally fake news.
You're thinking of the Tundra. This one's a single reload.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Tundra. Yeah. That's what I always liked about the Tundra compared to the car. But the more I've used the Tundra, I just actually I don't know, the car feels more consistent, I think. But that reload speed with that fast mag, oh my god, it's nuts. That's the big thing about that compared to the car too, is it's you can hit follow-up shots so quickly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another thing the Pellington has too, it's got a little better velocity than the car. So it's a little little less bullet drop too.
Which is good because the car's bullet velocity is fine, I think.
Yeah, so this
like
one's
it's
really
for a rifle like that, it's a good bullet velocity.
Yeah, and like basically. And this is just, again, man, these Cold War snipers with no glint, it's so dumb. It's so abusive in Warzone. Because if you're like in the shade behind a bush, prone, with no glint, no one will ever find you. I mean, ever. You're impossible to find. It's really busted to not have glint. So at least until that's fixed, people should be abusing these Cold War guns more. Like, really.
Yeah.
So, anyways. You guys should watch the video. I've gone into almost no detail on that. I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention, especially if you like sniping. It's a very interesting video. A lot of opinion in it, but I think it's well-founded, which is why I thought it was worth mentioning. And then lastly, XclusiveAce made a little chart. I'm curious if this is useful at all. I'll link to this video as well. I'm kind of right there with you, but I maybe it is. He made a chart that shows how far away you can land shots on moving targets without leading them based on your bullets, based on your weapon's bullet velocity. It's very cool. So I'll link to the video and I'll link to the chart. Here's what it looks like. So you can see here, we've got, wait, can I zoom out? Hello? I can't zoom out, whatever. We have distance to target, bullet velocity in meters per second, and then time to hit. Oh wait, there we go. Okay, got it. Yeah. So you can see here, if it's green, you don't have to lead the target at all. If it's orange, maybe a tiny bit. And if it's red, definitely lead the shots. Kind of useful. Not anything you're going to use in game, but it can at least give you some sense when you're constructing a gun and figuring out what bullet velocity you want or need, what is good. I know, for example, on these Cold War guns, some of the barrels will give you more bullet velocity, but less damage range. So you can use this chart to see, do I need the extra bullet velocity for this gun? Well, let me see. Am I going to have to lead targets at 100 meters? Okay, then maybe I do need the velocity. But maybe on this other gun, no, I don't. So like that's what it could be useful for when you're making a gun. Like asking, do I need the 85% velocity on my FFAR or is the 50% okay? Would I prefer 40% damage range? That's where I think this could be a good little chart to utilize. Yeah. But your thoughts are a flat no, Tanner? Tell us more.
I mean, it's just, people aren't paying attention to the distance to their targets. I mean, what is this, Ghost Recon Wildlands, which of course I'm a professional at, and I know all of my ranges before I fire my sniper rifle, and I know the bullet drops, right? But in this game, it's just not something you ever think about or pay attention to. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, unless you're constantly running some off-meta weapon and changing up attachments, I don't think this will ever be useful in the real world. I mean, you're not ever going to think about this when you're in a gunfight and think, oh, XclusiveAce made this document. I need to lead them by this amount because I have this much bullet velocity. It's literally, I mean, it's cool that he made this so like we know and can kind of get a sense of things, but in reality, it's not something you're going to think about and use. No.
I don't think you're going to use it in game, but again, I think it can be useful for creating loadouts. Mm-hmm. And it might come in more handy if Cold War guns start to get fixed and the attachments start to get fixed. And then you have to really consider, would I prefer bullet velocity over this attachment? Would I consider bullet velocity over damage range for this other barrel? You can use this chart as a reference. I think that's pretty cool. So I'm going to link to that again in the show notes and the video as well. He explains it in more detail, but that's that.
Yeah.
So that's that for patch notes. Now, real quick, got a couple things to fucking... Wow, how did I miss this?
We're back.
Okay. What do we got here? What do we got here, boys? Okay. Jada Pinkett. Miss Jada Pinkett Smith, handsome man, with the 500 biddies. Methmouth 666 with the Gifty Boy. Aussie Menace for 8 months at tier 2, an absolute god. I am a Warzone fan, he says. Let's go, dude. I saw your tweet earlier today, dude. You won't keep that energy long. Warzone will, of course, make you mauled, but you already know that. But I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. I will say the Warzone meta is the best that it has probably ever been. You can use a ton of different guns and do fine. Like, nothing is super busted. So it makes sense that you would be enjoying Warzone at the time. Like, you can snipe and it's viable. You can use an AR and it's viable. You can use like some LMGs and it's viable. Like, unironically, you could do a lot of shit. A DMR is still viable, but it's not like super busted. Like, you could do a lot of shit. It's a great meta right now. So that's good to hear for sure. But thank you for the tier 2, dude. 8 months, an absolute god. Lithe Peach, 420 bits. You're a child, but I'll take it. Thank you, Lithe. Pritchy Boy, another Australian. Mate, fuck you, Barnsey. With the Gifty Boy, Biden cheated 69 as well. With the Gifty Boy, let's go. Let's fucking go, boys. Thank you very much, dude. Jada, thank you again. Meth Mouth with the Gifty Boy, I appreciate it. Ozzy, welcome back. Tier 2, a real king. Glad to have you, dude. I'm glad you're enjoying Warzone. Lithe Peach, 420 bits. Thank you, sir. Appreciated. You're, again, childish, but I'll appreciate the bits. Of course, Pritchy Boy, thank you for the gifted sub. And Biden cheated again as well. Thank you. You love to see it, boys. I am honored, humbled, and fucking privileged. Much love, boys and girls. Indeed, it is the best meta. I agree, Lag Show. But thank you guys. Much appreciated. You love to see it.
Yeah.
You love to see it. Jersey Joe, welcome. I'm glad you're getting yelled at work listening to the program. That is something worthy of being yelled at work. Yelled at about at work for. Yelled at work for. Yes. English. Whatever. Welcome. Good to have you, brother. Thank you all. Much appreciated. Let's move on to news and upcoming changes. A lot to talk about here as well. Raven has confirmed, first of all, that they are looking into the recent issue of armor plate drops being inconsistent across different areas of Verdansk. Now, inconsistent's a way to phrase it, for sure. You could say inconsistent. You could also say there are no plates in very large swaths of the map when you drop in.
I mean, most of the map has no plates in it, yeah. I would say the majority.
It's been way worse lately, too. Like, literally, I'll loot an entire, like, port will have 0 plates. Like, at port, we'll have none. Have you noticed this getting worse?
Well, I don't ever go to port. I don't know about you. I'm not a recon Raz, so I don't know. I don't have any reason to land port. But there are a lot of spots on the map where you just get absolutely nothing. And then other areas, I feel like nowhere on the map has a lot of plates, honestly. Maybe Quarry. It seems like Quarry has a good amount. But other than that, it's like there's either a few plates or there's almost none there.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's gotten worse. But at least they're aware of it and they're investigating according to their little dog shit Trello board. So whatever. And now on to the most fun and exciting announcement, which there's a lot to dive into here. The Season 2 trailer. Cold War / Warzone Season 2. There was a trailer. I don't know if I can show it without getting DMCA'd, so I won't. But, you know, whatever. Here's some pictures of it. Just doing a little fucking slideshow here. And there was a lot to discuss with respect to this trailer. The trailer was announced on the 16th, yesterday, and Season 2 releases Thursday, February 25th. Did you see the trailer, TDS?
No.
You didn't?
I didn't watch it. No.
What a dumb idiot piece of shit.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck about the trailers. They don't tell us anything.
That's of course
the trailers are cool. They look cool, which is great. And then the gameplay doesn't show any of that. They make some really dope cinematic trailer and then none of it translates to the game. So I've just stopped watching them because I don't care anymore because they're worthless and they don't actually give us any information. It's just all a bunch of...
You are fake news.
Literally, just all fake news.
Yeah, that is
so it just makes their game look good.
For sure. Yeah, Crisp, I know I can show it, but they would DMCA the video. So it would just get like demonetized. So that's why. I know I wouldn't get sued or anything, but yeah, that's why. Anyways, yes. True. All true. We said this about the Firebase Z trip, the cinematic. Great cinematic, don't care because the gameplay was not going to be of that caliber.
Yep.
That's probably going to be true in this case, but we'll see on Thursday, February 25th. So for those of you who haven't watched it or didn't watch it with a keen eye, there were some things showcased in the trailer that we could expect to see come to the game in Season 2. Let's take these one by one. Number one, the crossbow. Actually not going to say much about this because I don't care. Crossbow's already an M-dub. It's going to come to Cold War as well. So now we're going to have 2 crossbows in addition to 2 AK-47s and MP5s. That's fine. It's a shit weapon. It doesn't matter. To the minigun. There's some speculation about this. I think this is going to be a Cold War score streak.
Definitely, 100%.
Yes. In which case, we probably won't see it in Warzone, but it'll be a new thing you can get in Cold War. Now, in the with the Warzone minigun and like the Juggernaut minigun and M-dub, it's really strong, obviously, but it has a very, very slow open bolt delay. So you start firing and you're going to have to hold it down for 45 minutes before bullets start flying out of the gun.
Yeah.
If that's the case with the Cold War minigun, it's not going to be very good. Probably. But if the open bolt delay is not that bad, then it's going to be disgusting. Like Reaper, for example. Real gross. But there was an open bolt delay with the Reaper minigun too, actually. But you also had like unlimited ammo.
And Reaper's problem was there's just no recoil on it.
No recoil, and the time to kill was so slow that you could get shot 8 times.
Yeah.
While you're charging up your fucking death machine, and then you just win if you're not dead before it starts firing.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. That's interesting, but a pretty big don't care there. There's some speculation that the new operator, which we'll talk about in the trailer, who shoots the fucking guy in the head, looks kind of like a Magnum, but there's some speculation that that's a hand cannon. And now that's not a real thing, probably. I hope it's not. If so, change it. But the speculation is that this might be another new score streak in Cold War, similar to Seraph's ultimate ability in Black Ops 4, the hand cannon, which was really good and fun to use, and I would say not overpowered. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I don't think it was overpowered. I think both of these are fine to add in as score streaks in Cold War. Also, these were rumored like months ago, so neither of these things are surprising whatsoever.
Exactly.
But yeah, so they're not going to add them as like a regular weapon. And it's like, if it's got to be the hand cannon for the pistol one, because what handgun would they add in? Like another Magnum or something? It's like, it just doesn't make any sense. It could just be an existing
Magnum.
Or it could be, but usually they throw things in the videos like that to tease, what's coming. So, yeah, it's pretty obvious to me that those are just two score streaks coming to the game.
Yeah, agreed. And then also, speaking of other things that were new, 2 weapons, which I think is the most interesting to talk about. The first of which is the Galil. Now, the Galil is already an M-dub. It's called the AMAX. It is like the assault rifle in Verdansk right now. And this was a DLC weapon for M-dub. And it looks like the Galil is also coming to Cold War, which means that's also going to be coming to Warzone. So we'll have 2 AK-47s, 2 crossbows, 2 MP5s, 2 Magnums, and 2 Galils. And I am pretty excited about this because new ARs means a chance for the meta to be shaken up a bit. I don't want it to be too busted because the meta right now is really good. So I don't want some overpowered thing ruining that, which we'll get into. But variety is always nice, and a new Galil seems at least interesting.
Yeah. And I'm thinking at this point in the game, I feel like if they release weapons, honestly, I'm going to say they transfer over to Warzone, having all of the correct attachments do what they say they do and balance correctly, which I think will be interesting. Like, there's no way, right? There's just no way they're going to release a
Oh.
gun and have none of the attachments work. You would think, like, if they add in a new gun, they seamlessly transition this over to Warzone, and none of the rear grips do anything. I'm just gonna. That's it for me. I mean, you know,
They won't. But
there's no way the attachments aren't gonna at least somewhat do what they say. I'm not expecting perfection because it won't be, but I'm expecting the attachments to at least do something like what they say. Just for these new weapons, I think they'll be balanced better, and it'll kind of give us maybe some foresight as to what's going to happen in the future with the weapons. Like maybe this will kind of show us like, oh shit, like these grips in Warzone are nutty. Like this could be meta if they ever fix the other weapons. They won't, but that's what I'm thinking. There's no way they release broken guns in a Warzone again, right? Is there?
I'm not so sure, but I do see what you're saying. Like, so the new Galil comes out, and then the rear grips actually work, and then we find that the serpent wrap's like fucking gross.
Yeah, something like that.
And then
yeah.
we would be excited for if they won't fix it on, you know, the other Cold War guns. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I am not as optimistic as you. I think all the attachments are going to be broken, just like they are now, to be honest.
Well, then all development teams should just be fired, and Activision should be firebombed and out of business if that's the case.
In a video game, of course, they should be. Yes. Yeah. True. So
it's the simplest thing. They have the best opportunity to not screw something up here.
Yeah. That would be great, but I don't expect that to happen on Thursday. I just don't see it. But
okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. Clip it and ship it, indeed. And
for
then
sure see.
Also a new SMG. Now, I don't know if this is the CX9/Scorpion, which we're going to get into, but it might be. But a new SMG in general would be a good thing, obviously. And I'm curious how it would work in general and especially in Warzone. But until we get more details, not much to talk about there. So, also in the trailer, a new operator was shown. And this is a Razanon approved operator. He's an edgelord confirmed. He's got a balaclava on. Can't see his face. He's fucking masked up. He's glassed up. Here's the new SMG, by the way, in this image you can see here, which appears to be a Scorpion. Is that fake news, Tanner? What does this look like to you? You're a gun nut.
I have no idea. I can't tell anything from that picture.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a gun for sure. It's a firearm that fires bullets. I know that.
It is a
small
tool, a device.
It's in a compact form.
That is true. It's got a little wire stock there. I'm a gun enthusiast, so I know what a wire stock is, not just from playing Call of Duty, of course. What are your thoughts on the operator?
He looks really dope, actually.
He does look cool.
Now, all of the jungle in the background is making me furious, because if we get any sort of map that has thick jungle like that, I'm retiring from Call of Duty and I will never play it again.
Yes.
I mean,
I am 1,000% on board with that.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks, this operator is really dope looking. Kind of hard. I mean, he looks pretty plain, honestly, which I think is why he's cool looking. It's not just some, something they went overboard on. It's actually like a realistic looking operator. I like it.
Yeah. Nick, though, was a little excessive. Yeah.
Oh, Nick, though, was dog shit. Yeah.
Well, let's not go that far, but yeah. So, also, in more detail here, this might account for some of the weapons coming in Season 2, or maybe a little later. There are 3, and I'll link to this video in the show notes. He went into survival mode, which I think is only available on PlayStation, and has shown 3, as of yet, unavailable guns that will at some point be coming to Warzone. The first of which we will revisit again is this SMG. So, CX9, aka Scorpion. What?
You know what I just realized and remembered? These weapons you're about to talk about are for Modern Warfare multiplayer and Warzone.
Yes.
So that other SMG we saw, no, that's not the CX9. That's another SMG, because that was Cold War, wasn't it?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely not
you
the
might be
CX9.
right.
It looks nothing like it.
Okay.
So that SMG was something different. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that's okay. That makes sense. So maybe we're definitely going to get an SMG in season 2. Looks like it won't be the CX9 at least unless they release 2 SMGs, or unless Tanner is wrong, which is entirely possible.
I'm not.
So okay, clip it and ship it, and hold tightly to that energy. So CX9, and you can read the in-game description here. Excellent maneuverability and a fast fire rate make this blowback operated submachine gun a formidable weapon in close quarters engagements. It's got like a 20 round mag by default. And then again, XclusiveAce compared this to a Scorpion, and he said it's kind of similar to like a Mac 10 or a Fennec, which is a Vector. So a real fast firing Mac 10 Fennec like SMG, the Scorpion basically.
So it's an SMG, yeah.
It's some SMGs aren't that crazy. I'm even getting
True.
Spitfire vibes. Black Ops 4 had the Spitfire. This is a Treyarch. Oh, this isn't a Treyarch weapon, actually. Never mind. But yeah. Has a Scorpion been in any Call of Duties that you remember?
The Scorpion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which ones? Or which one?
This isn't who said this is a Scorpion?
XclusiveAce said that's a Scorpion. Tanner's researching.
Sure
this.
doesn't fucking look like one.
Okay. I'll do some research.
Are
here.
you sure? The Scorpion looks more like the Cold War screenshot. Are you sure you're not getting these confused?
No.
Really?
I'm not sure, actually.
Oh.
I'm not sure I'm getting these I'm not getting these confused. I don't know.
I think you are.
This
The
is a real-life
CX9,
Scorpion
okay.
chat.
The CX9 is most definitely not a Scorpion whatsoever. So it sounds like the SMG coming to Cold War is the Scorpion.
Okay.
Now the CX9 appears to be another SMG that looks like, it essentially looks like a 9mm version of like a G36 to me. Like a G36C, like a SMG 9mm version of it or something.
Okay. Cool. Well, all right. Glad we cleared that up.
Yeah.
Tanner is, of course, a gun enthusiast, and he should be jailed for daring to
Probably will be.
To support the Second
Uncle
Amendment.
Joe.
Obviously. Shout out to Uncle Joe. But anyways, again, you guys can watch the video. I'm pretty sure he says it's a Scorpion, so you can watch and confirm or not. But he's saying these will be in Warzone at some point. So number 1, the CX9. Number 2, the Raal MG. And again, we have an in-game screenshot here. This is in the LMG category. The Reconnaissance Auxiliary Assault Lightweight Machine Gun uses a low fire rate and a reciprocating barrel to mitigate the powerful 338 Norma Mag recoil. Advanced titanium construction keeps the weight manageable. Now, Tanner made a noise there. What are your thoughts on this? Slow firing, hitting hard.
338 is a hard hitting, like sniper rifle round.
It's a chunky boy.
So that's interesting to me. Interesting. So it sounds like, yeah, there's going to be a low fire rate. So what could we kind of compare this to? I wonder if it's going to be similar to like a VKM M60, something like that. Which, if that's the case, it's a big don't care. Low fire rate weapons generally aren't good in Warzone, which is what
Norma
people,
Mag
of course,
is the same
care about.
thing that the meta ammo type is on the SPR sniper rifle.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's a
what I'm
chunky
saying.
boy.
Yeah.
A chunky boy.
That's what it sounds like to me. Is low fire rate, probably a lot of recoil. God, would there even be? Well, there's definitely a drum magazine underneath it, or a big belt fed magazine. Something like, would that actually have 100 rounds in it if it's 338? I don't know. Interesting though.
Super interesting.
Doesn't sound like anything. Just judging from the description, doesn't sound like something that's going to be like good in Warzone at all, though, which is good. I mean, of course, LMGs almost never are. Except for the Bruin.
Is there any really chunky LMG? You know what, dude?
M60.
Yeah, there's no Modern Warfare chunky LMG. There isn't. The PK, like, they hit pretty hard, but there's nothing like an M60. There's nothing like a VKM. You're right.
So this is probably their M60.
Basically. Yeah. which might be interesting in like 4s. See what kind of loadout you can do. It looks like it's going to have low recoil, that based on the description, which would mean pretty good at range. So if you could use this with like a 3X and like really hang back, and you could just chunk helicopters, you could chunk Berthas, you can 4-tap people with full fucking armor from really far away.
Yeah. I'm looking at real life pictures of this thing. It is huge.
Really?
So it's going to be like an M60 essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to find some real life pictures.
I just searched 338 LMG and you see a bunch of them.
Oh, okay.
338 Norma machine gun. It looks like Sig Sauer in real life.
Sig Sauer MG 338. Yeah. Holy shit. That is a chunky boy, dude.
Yeah. So you're right. This is Modern Warfare's M60. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. So here's a real one. Sig light machine gun 338 Norma Magnum. Indeed a belt fed. Holy shit. Look at those rounds. That's a real life death machine, dude. That's scary.
That's crazy because that's what we were going to take when we go shooting. I have one of those.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to grab it real quick.
Run you fucking 60 grand. That thing's probably so expensive. Emptying that belt is what? Fucking 5 grand or some shit. Those rounds can't be cheap.
They're probably, I don't know what those are around, maybe $5 to $10 each.
Really? That's still a lot, actually. But yeah,
I don't know. What
either.
is that? What is that each?
Norma Magnum.
Here's a 20 rounds for, oh, they're all over the place. 20 rounds for $150.
Interesting.
They're all over the place. Yeah. They're not cheap for sure.
Well, yeah, of course. Anyways, that's coming. So I'm curious to see how that, performs in the video game. So that's coming. And then the most fun and exciting new weapon from survival mode that will be coming to Warzone. This has been the most talked about for good reason. It's a handgun, so it's a secondary. So you might be thinking, wait, who gives a shit about secondary weapons? Because people don't really use those, right? Just a secondary. It's not a primary weapon, right? Well, let's get into it. Sykov handgun. A dependable fallback in close quarters. This double action / single action sidearm, I don't know what that means, comes with a few custom gunsmith mods that make it an outstanding addition to any arsenal. Now, I do know what a few custom gunsmith mods means, or at least some of the things it could mean. Number 1, 80 round drum mag for your secondary weapon in Modern Warfare and Warzone, which is fun and exciting. And even better than that, a nice little conversion kit to make it fully automatic. So a fully automatic 80 round drum mag pistol secondary. What are the odds that this is not disgustingly overpowered, TDS? And can we run it akimbo for a good 160 rounds of
We probably will be able to run
chimpanzee
an akimbo,
action?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. I mean, okay, this gun is completely fine to add in as long as it does 2 damage outside of 3 meters, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's of course true.
I mean, if this has any sort of a range, it's going to be, on paper, it's the most busted gun that has ever come to Warzone.
Especially
I don't
as a
know
secondary, it's
though.
actually
With
offensive.
Raven kind of with Raven kind of taking control of Warzone now, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because this sounds like the first weapon being added since Raven took over that could be like extremely, extremely overpowered. So it's like, what do? Do they just remove the akimbo perk from it? Do they remove the drum mags in Warzone? It's like, no, I don't think they're going to do either of those things because they've never done anything like that for any of the other weapons.
True.
So it doesn't make sense for them to do that. So really the only way to balance it is going to be a ton of recoil, a wide hip fire spread, of course, because they're going to be akimbo, and very little damage. And I actually read, I think it was J God was saying this, that he did some testing on it, and he's not too sure. I think I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure basically what he said was that the damage is going to be awful, But because the fact you get 160 bullets, it has the potential to be extremely fucking busted. But the damage itself sounds like it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
But you know, with a very if they're counting damage per bullet, and you have 160 rounds fully automatic, and it fires extremely quickly, then those, you know, BB gun rounds quickly turn into much more than that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think the best way they'd be able to balance this too is make it so that each, like, if you run the drum mag, it reduces your hip fire accuracy massively.
Yeah.
And range, yeah, of course. This is, I mean, offensive to me. So these will be coming to Warzone. We'll see how they do. Not will, is my guess. So enjoy that. Again, the video is linked in the show notes, and you can see gameplay of the CX-9 and the Sykov. The Raal MG, no gameplay yet. But XclusiveAce shows it in that video, so you can check that out as well. And then in line with Season 2, there have been some teasers happening in Warzone. The bullshit static screen thing, and also some lightning. Here you can see the static screen shit. This was, you know, we saw this in Season 1. Seeing it here as well in preparation for Season 2. And then here's the lightning in Verdansk. Like some clouds and lightning, as you would expect. Where there's lightning, there are clouds. You know how the idiom goes. So not terribly exciting, but some people have different theories on this. XclusiveAce, in a video that will also be linked in the show notes, claims that based on these things, this is going to lead to the end of the map Verdansk, and an entirely new map will take its place around the 1-year anniversary of Warzone. Again, you can watch the video. It's in the show notes. But what my thought was hearing this, and he explains like his reasoning why he thinks this map is going to end. So it's worth taking a listen. But if this is true, I'm going to be pretty annoyed, because I would prefer they release a second Warzone map and give us the option, rather than release a second map and then permanently throw away Verdansk so we can never play Verdansk again. That would annoy me, and I'm not sure why they would do it, but it is Activision, of course. What are your thoughts on this?
I think I'm at the point now where I don't think they'll get rid of Verdansk. Like, I thought that a long time ago, and then like even you were like, yeah, but like, why would they get rid of a map like they spent all this time making? I feel like if anything, if we see any sort of change to Verdansk, it's going to come in like a major map change. You know, like something is destroyed, and then we get some sort of a second map from that. So I feel like if anything, Verdansk will be entirely different and we'll have a second map. There's no way we just go from Verdansk to a new map, right? And still just are stuck with one playable map.
Yeah, I hope
not. I don't know. I mean, having more than one map in a BR game is kind of a mess, because it's like, you know, if you either have to queue for just one map, so like Verdansk or something will have way less players, so the lobbies will, you know, potentially be a lot sweatier, let's say, if all the good players are playing on that. Or they're all in one queue and certain maps come up and you just leave the lobby.
Also,
because you don't want to play that map. So it's kind of, BRs having more than one map is a little odd. Like they definitely need more than one map, but the actual balance of them kind of gets a little wonky, I think. But Warzone is like the most popular BR. So like I'm thinking of like PUBG when I compare these, which the PUBG player base is fucking 50th of what Warzone's is.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but that's how PUBG was back in the day.
Okay. Those are good points. And another thing I'm thinking too is like, you know how they change up the ground loot? I don't trust Activision to be changing ground loot effectively for 3 maps. For Rebirth Island and Verdansk and whatever the new map might be at the same time. It's just a lot more opportunities for bugs and a lot more upkeep they would have to do. So maybe it is for the best if they scrapped Verdansk altogether. I don't know though. But that's what XclusiveAce thought. Take a look at the video. It's interesting, and if you're interested in this, and you know, see what you guys think. I actually have more mixed feelings now, Because Tanner raised some good points there. All in all, though, go ahead.
I didn't know this. Go type this out in chat. So Apex apparently has more than one map, and like every hour and a half for everybody, the map changes. So it could in the future be something like that too. Because that was the other issue. It's like, okay, cool. Like you're hoping to play one map and then you queue 6 times in a row and get Verdansk. Say if there's a second map, you want to play that, you're just never getting it. So that makes a lot of sense. I didn't know games did that. Now it's cool that Apex has that.
That is a good way around your problem that you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that would fix it.
Yeah. So yeah, we will see. We will see. But if I had to pick, I would prefer a new map over. I would prefer only a new map, only over another fucking year of Verdansk for sure. The Warzone is stale, dude. It's stale, and it's. I mean, the meta is great right now, and it's really fun. But I mean, the same map for a year. Come on, guys, we got to change it up. We got to change it up.
Yeah, and the map isn't that horrible. It's just there hasn't been any considerable large changes to it.
Yes.
I mean, it's, there's a chance Verdansk is gone and we get a new map and we hate it, which
True.
that would really, really suck.
True. And it could
So
be
it's
jungle
like the-
themed like that trailer.
Exactly. So the fact that we're like 1 year into Verdansk and it's still this popular shows that the map must be decent in most people's eyes. So, that's something to think about too.
That's true. Yeah. And be careful what you wish for is a good point. I mean, Verdansk, the problem with Verdansk, you can't get on top of Dam easily enough. And sometimes that can just fuck you on the circle. That's annoying. There need to be more ways up Dam. The subway station doesn't work. There's another problem. Other than that, it's a pretty good map. And of course, downtown exists and there are way too many buildings. These are all problems, of course. Besides those things, it's a pretty good map though. I would say overall, like it's actually a pretty good map.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it could be worse. And if it's jungle themed, it's going to be a fucking disaster. Because if you thought it was hard to see people before, wait till you're in fucking Vietnam. It's going to be an absolute catastrophe. I mean, you'll have to wall to see people. You'll just have to. Get a PC, guys. Start wall hacking. Don't worry, they won't ban you. And this way you can actually see people.
No, we'll have a working anti-cheat by then, so we're good.
Okay. Well, we'll be dead by the time that's the case. So, also, there have been some other weird things going on in Verdansk. Oddly enough, Charlie Intel tweeted this on the 11th. There's also a new machine in Verdansk that has an activate zombies button, and here's a little video for you guys. This is in Verdansk Hospital. So this is hospital, obviously. This guy's playing Plunder. And there's some random machine, and you walk up to it, and you can press a button to activate zombies. This is in the game now. Now, when you press the button, of course, nothing happens. But the assets are there. It's coded into the game. And there's another one here at Stadium as well. So they're not always in the same spot. It's not always at Stadium. It's not always in Hospital. It's not always in the map at all. But it seems to be like switching locations randomly. And you walk up to it and you can press activate zombies. And this is happening in Infinity Ward, Modern Warfare, Warzone, Verdansk. And Infinity Ward's never done zombies. So this is another part of their kind of integration campaign, I guess. But I don't really know what this means. This is part of the reason that XclusiveAce was saying he thinks Verdansk is going to be done, because his hypothesis, I think, is that zombies are going to take over Verdansk, and there's going to be a new game mode that takes place in Verdansk, which is like a PvE game mode related to zombies, which we're going to get into.
Yeah.
And therefore Verdansk will be used for that now. So they're going to recycle the map, so it's not like all the development went to waste. They're just going to be using it for a different game mode. And then we're going to get a new BR map on top of that. And that would explain why there's these press X for zombies and press F to pay respects to Verdansk machines floating around. Had you seen this before? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So like, I didn't realize though that the machines, like you can actually interact with it and you can press it and it says, the zombies thing. I was kind of under the impression that like these were around the map and you like went up to the screen and it said something about zombies. Or the fact that you could interact with it, I mean that the zombies, that's basically confirms there's something to do with zombies coming to Warzone. So I'm surprised all of this hasn't been like actually leaked yet, to be honest.
Yeah, true. It's weird.
But yeah, this for sure sounds like zombies. What his guess sounds about what I would say if these are in Verdansk. There's going to be some sort of like zombies overrun Verdansk. You know, maybe they drop bombs on it, missiles, part of the map, or the whole map gets destroyed. It's overrun with zombies. And yeah, maybe Verdansk going forward is just some sort of permanent zombie versus person.
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good idea from their point of view. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think the average person would want that.
I agree, but we'll get more into what would happen with Verdansk possibly, or what the hypothesis is. But when you have all these kind of puzzle pieces laid out in this way, it actually does. It tracks. Like it makes sense what Ace's theory is on this. But let's move on. This will become more clear. So, we'll revisit that. But actually, you know what? Let's just do it now. Here. Okay, hold on. Ordering these was awkward. So, on this topic, rumor: Black Ops Cold War to get Outbreak game mode, which is an open world style zombies mode. So interestingly, Cold War is rumored to receive a new mode called Outbreak. It will be co-op based open world zombies mode played on one of the big fire team maps. So maybe not Verdansk, but maybe Verdansk. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But according to this rumor, it would take place, at least in one respect, it would take place on one of the big fire team maps. This honestly sounds like pretty cool. So like you and a friend or 3 friends or 30 friends or all your Damascus Patron friends could load into this fire team map and you do like some giant player versus environment zombies thing. And rather than 4 people, you can do it with like fucking 40 or some shit. That sounds pretty goddamn fun. And if you could do it with a bunch of players, this is an excellent venue for some Damascus hangouts. What are your thoughts on this?
True. I hadn't even thought about that. That does sound really fun with that many players, actually.
I don't know if that's in the rumor, but if it takes place on a fire team map, it certainly seems that way. But that wasn't explicitly stated in the article. And again, this is just a rumor. This isn't like a whatever.
Well, if that's the case, wouldn't it make more sense as like a bunch of teams of 4 fighting against each other and zombies also then? Yes,
possibly. But the article, again, just a rumor, and I'm just telling you guys what this article on Charlie Intel said. Some guy named Okami on Twitter, who has accurately leaked video game news in the past, claims that Cold War will soon be adding an open world zombies mode called Outbreak. It'll be Treyarch style and co-op, ruling out the possibility that it will be PvP, according to this guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That could be very fun. I'm right there with you, actually. If it's large scale like that, that could actually be a whole lot of fun. I don't know if that would have anything... That doesn't have anything to do with the zombies in Verdansk, though. I mean, that sounds like that's like just a Cold War thing.
Yes, it does.
That's going to be played in Cold War.
I think I had gotten them. Yeah, I think I had gotten them a little mixed up. I think I was maybe extrapolating more than these people have been. But when I think about it, if they're adding zombies to Verdansk, and they also want to grandfather out Verdansk, and they're also doing fire team map sized zombie player modes in Cold War, I mean, it would kind of make sense that they also bring this game mode to Verdansk or to Warzone or Modern Warfare or whatever application.
I guess so, huh?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I'm taking a step further in that than these people are. But that's just kind of where my head's at. Because I don't know what else fucking activate zombies in Infinity Ward's title could mean. Like, you know? And the timing seems odd. Seems, you know.
That kind of both of these are coming out at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. Just release it.
Yes, agreed. This would be the first time in history that Call of Duty would have an open world mode for zombies. Which, again, I think could be fun, dude. Can you imagine if, like, you still do the dropship thing? Let's say you're all on the same team. You drop from the ship whenever, but there are just zombies everywhere. And you still have to loot up. You can get in vehicles. You can buy loadouts. But, like, there's always zombies just fucking your ass. And and maybe the gas is still there. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I think it could be really cool. I think it could be really fucking fun. And you have to try to survive for 20 minutes or something. And the gas doesn't kill zombies, but it kills you. And with each circle, there's like way more zombies and they're stronger or something. I think this could be fucking cool. I think there's potential if that's the case. But this is a lot of wild speculation on my part. Yeah. I'm just envisioning, as it were. But anyways, that is, of course, rumored to be coming to the video game. Moving on. Real quick. We have some fun and exciting little developments here. Where are we? Senti 420 has subbed for 7 fucking months. Let's go. Miss Lemur Party, 6 months with a smiley face. Enjoy your new badge, young Miss Lemur Party. Thank you. Jersey Joe with the gifted sub. And the Dave Daly, the mad lad, has gifted fucking 10 submarinos. That's a lot of scratch. David, Jesus Christ, dude. Boys, girls, thank you very much. Senti, 7 months. I appreciate it. Sir, much love, dude. Welcome back. Thank you for the tier 1. Glad to have you, brother. Miss Lemur Party, of course, 6 months. Glad to have you here as well. Coming back for more. You love to see that. Thank you, Miss Lemur. Jersey Joe with the gifted sub. I appreciate that, dude. And Dave Daly, fucking 10 gifted subs. You absolute animal. Dave. That's a lot of scratch. That's a lot of love. We very much appreciate that, Dave. Thank you very much, everyone, boys and girls. I appreciate the support. Dave, thank you very much again. Very kind of you, sir. Treyarch Studios on Twitter has been posting a lot of bullshit related to zombies as well. So here we have a video from Treyarch. Breach scale large, status 0% contained, and it shows some Dark Aether bullshit. This is obviously, of course, just some allusion to zombies. I suspect in Season 2 there's going to be some more zombies horseshit coming. Here's one such little hint. Another picture from Treyarch on the Twitters. New Requiem recon intel coming. There is a picture of a Dark Aether crystal in black and white with a letter from from Strauss to Weaver. I don't know who these people are, of course, but it is some more whatever lore. So that's interesting. And then this confused me. Charlie Intel tweeted something, and this looks again to be related to zombies, because if we see the video, it looks like you're coming out of like some fucking wormhole or Dark Aether or some shit. And this was tweeted today, this afternoon, this morning. And quote, there's an operation underway in the Ural Mountains. I have to stay in the field. Ural Mountains confirmed. Now, I read this tweet and I was like, hey, what the fuck are the Ural Mountains? I don't know what this means, right? So I Googled Ural Mountains, and you know what? Let's just do it together, chat. Let's just do it together here. Ready? Okay, google.com. Okay. So I'm going to type in here, Ural Mountains.
Okay.
And we can see that it's already in my little thing, whatever. And this is what came up. A mountain range in Russia. So this doesn't tell me much, right? Because
well,
the fact that the Ural Mountains exist is not particularly interesting to me or related to Call of Duty in any way?
Well,
what? So what is this significant? Besides
all
the fact that
those
it's in
Cold War
Russia?
fire team maps are in the Ural Mountains.
Okay, that's the piece I was missing.
Yes.
Okay.
So what are those ship maps called? Alpine. What is the other one? The other ones that we've never played. All of those though are
yeah, I
set
forget.
in the Ural Mountains.
Ural, I think, yeah.
So basically what they're kind of hinting at is they're thinking the new Warzone map will be Ural Mountains, which was already again talked about months ago when we had said it sounds like all the fire team maps are going to form a Warzone map. So that's kind of what they're hinting at. That's what Charlie Intel is thinking here, which makes a lot of sense, and it's not surprising whatsoever if that's the case, because of course that's what they did with Modern Warfare. They basically took, a bunch of smaller maps, ended up making up a lot of Verdansk. Promenade, downtown, port.
So
Quarry.
the implication is that this is going to be the next Warzone map. Is going to be
Correct.
Take place
That
in
is
the
the
Ural
implication.
Mountains.
Now, what does this have to do with zombies? I don't know. There's one speculation I saw was that something's going to happen. Zombies are going to get called into Verdansk. Maybe something like they have to nuke Verdansk to kill all the zombies, and then they use Dark Aether or something to travel to the Ural Mountains. I don't know. It's a big stretch. Would Activision do something like that? Yes, definitely. So all of that is kind of adding up. It's all making sense, but that's kind of what they're hinting at. So, it is making a lot of sense that we're finally seeing teasers for a new map. Granted, that Warzone came out a year ago next month.
Yes.
So I think we'll get a new map next month. Now, I see some people thinking like we're going to be getting a new map when Season 2 launches next week. I think that's absolutely wrong. I'm pretty sure
there's no fucking chance.
I think the new map will come sometime in March or maybe on the anniversary of Warzone, what day was that? It was like the middle of March, wasn't it?
Yeah, so if you think there's going to be a new Warzone map
March
on
10th.
Yeah, okay, yeah. They excuse me. They will announce the new Warzone map before they release it, and they'll do it sooner than a week before. Maybe about a week before, but they would have announced this by now because they want to drum up hype.
Yes, exactly. That's what people keep thinking, like, oh, we're going to get it next week. And it's like they've never dropped something big like that and haven't teased it the week before. It's like even when Warzone came out, they waited pretty much 1 week before they released Warzone, which was a huge announcement. Granted, it had been rumored for a long time, but they didn't formally announce it until like the week before. So I'm right there with you. I think we'll get something sometime in March and we'll get notified of it a week before. And it won't just be a teaser. I think we'll get like a full trailer of what's coming.
100%.
So it would make sense. So we got some teasers this week. I'm thinking next week we get the patch. Maybe the following week, so next week when we get the patch, we also get some sort of other teaser. The next week we get like an announcement and a trailer, and maybe the next week we get some sort of map change, added map, something big with Verdansk like that.
Yes. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Thank you for filling me in on that. Because I was like, what the fuck? Who cares about the Ural Mountains? Like, I don't understand. Now it makes sense. Okay, cool. So this is something that XclusiveAce had said, and we covered this a couple of weeks ago, actually. Ace said, I think that the new Warzone map will be a combination of the fire team maps.
Yeah.
And this is
which
now...
of course, it's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, interesting. Now, I know you haven't played basically any fire team, but I remember you saying that you heard that some of the fire team maps played pretty well, particularly the new one, which I think was
that latest
Alpine.
fire team map. No, it was what was that fire team map called? Fuck. Ruka? No, that's the other one. What is that map called?
Sanatorium.
That map actually looked really well too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if they're well received, if they play... Okay, here's the question. If they play well in fire team, does that mean that it's likely that they will also play well in a battle royale like Warzone?
I think partly yes.
I
do
agree.
think because fire team is a large scale game mode. where it's a bunch of teams going against each other. So I think so, yes. And also, Sanatorium is a very large map, like much bigger than all of than the two other fire team maps. So that's also the thing, is that could be a large part of a new Warzone map, because that map in and of itself is already massive.
True. Yeah. Okay. Wow, this is all coming together for me. Okay. Very, very cool. Yeah, I think I'm excited for this then, in that case. I'm unironically going to play some fire team soon. And I want to get a picture of all these maps and play them a little more. Especially now that it's so likely that it will be coming to Warzone in the Battle Royale. Because I want to get a sense for how they'll play too. Because I have played some fire team. It was only on the original 2 or 3 maps. I think there were 2.
I think we just played Alpine pretty much.
Maybe. And that seemed like it would be a good Warzone map. Like, that seemed fine. Yeah. Is it possible that Warzone moves to the Cold War client and is played on Cold War?
No. Like the whole engine and everything? No, of course not.
Why not?
There's not a chance in hell.
You think it's easier that they move a Cold War map to Warzone than it is for them to move a BR to Cold War?
Absolutely, yes, of course.
Why?
That was the dumbest question I've ever heard.
Think of everything
think of everything that's coded into Warzone right now.
No, but they
loadout drops, the buy stations, all of that.
They would code in the loadout drops, but the Cold War, it would be Cold War perks now. It would be Cold War guns with MW DLC guns.
That would be the death of Warzone. People don't like Cold War. People don't like Cold War mechanics.
That's true, but they wouldn't be able to change the plan in time if that was the original
Here's my thought, which we'll get into here when we talk about... Well, we're basically already on that point. We're going to talk about here COD 2021.
Okay.
So, my thoughts are... You'll talk about it more here in a second, but the rumors are Sledgehammer making COD 2021, possibly World War II.
Yes.
So, let's say this Warzone game we're on right now. We have Modern Warfare, we have Cold War, and then we'll have Call of Duty World War II. Of course, will they play well together at all into one big Warzone game mode? Oh, of course not. It'll be a fucking absolute disaster.
Yes.
I'm thinking the Warzone is going to be on some sort of like a 3-year life cycle, because according to Tom Henderson, the next COD in development will, of course, go back to Infinity Ward. So do you think at that point they add another Infinity Ward game in, and then that just gets added to Warzone again? No, I don't think so. It's obvious Infinity Ward is the main development studio for Activision, for Call of Duty. They're the favorites. They're the number one. It's Infinity Ward. No matter what your opinion is, they are the number one developer. So I feel like when it comes to that next game that Infinity Ward makes, then we'll see a major overhaul to Warzone, maybe a new engine or something, a bunch of changes. But until then, I think everything that happens now during Cold War and the next Call of Duty is all just going to be seamlessly transitioned into our current state of Warzone.
Okay. Yeah. I hear you. I also hear you on the 3-year development cycle too. I think that's correct, especially because they have the 3 main dev teams. That is definitely more likely. I am not ready to completely rule out that Warzone goes to the Cold War engine though.
Okay.
Like I'm unironically not ready.
I mean,
to
that's
rule
fine.
It out.
That's fine. You can believe what you want. There's people
that believe
dumber things.
I'm saying it's an outside chance, but it's possible. Because moving fire team maps to Modern Warfare engine, not going to be super easy either, maybe, but probably a lot easier than... Well, I mean, they have so many BR mechanics already in Cold War, though. They already have the parachute. They already have the dropship plane. They already have armor plates.
Yeah.
They already have the map.
And how does it play? Awful. That's why nobody plays it.
Yes, but if they had made the plan this way from the beginning, then by the time they got negative feedback, it would have been too late. The plan would have been too far along, and they would have just gone through with it anyway.
True. Well, let's put it this way. If you're right, you'll be the only person right. So, maybe you'll be the only one.
We'll see.
We'll see.
This is the less likely option. I think it's just going to come to the current engine. That's what I say is more likely, but it's possible. Keep your ears perked the fuck up, because it's
I'm gonna
possible.
get some water.
Okay, you fucking do that. Let's move on to a very exciting news item. Basically, the last news item of this evening. Rumor. COD 2021, and we will be having a Call of Duty in 2021, much to Tanner's surprise.
You're so fucking dumb.
Will be set during the World War II era. So basically, some dude on Twitter named Victor__Z, which is, of course, a change it, tweeted an image of the World War II Call of Duty art, and he put a hammer emoji. And apparently this guy is very credible, and he leaks video game information for a variety of video games, Call of Duty being one of those. And here's the tweet in question. Just whatever. The World War II art with a hammer emoji. So then and this was on the 16th. So then some dude asked World War III ? And then Victor answered World War II with no question mark. So COD 2021, people are speculating from this cryptic tweet, will be set in the World War II era, which kind of totally shits on our hypothesis that we had, where it would be either near future or just modern. And many people in Discord and on Twitter are kind of malding about this being set in World War II, if that's the case. And it seems pretty likely at this time. What are your thoughts on a World War II COD 2021? And how would that fit into Warzone, actually? Very weird.
Well, it wouldn't, but Cold War doesn't really fit into the whole Warzone thing either. So I mean, now that we realize all they really do is transfer over weapons and they do a very poor job at it, then it's understandable. But yeah, I mean, World War II weapons in Warzone would be a disaster, actually. I mean, what kind of optics are we going to be running, you know? How's that going to work? They're just going to make a bunch of bullshit optics that didn't necessarily exist like they have done in past World War II games. Like, they add in all these optics, and realistically, none of those were used in real life, which I get it. They're not trying to make a realistic shooter, but it's like I feel like you have to at least put in like attachments that make sense. I mean, nobody was running around with scopes on their fucking MP44 in World War II. I can confirm that, right?
Yeah,
so,
and there's a reason no Navy SEALs today are using fucking Thompsons.
Yeah.
Like, they're, you know, these are 80-year-old guns at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I have been playing the same style of World War II shooters since I was 10 years old. I'm done with World War II games. Why are developers still making these games? They were fun, right? They were so much fun back in the day. We've had way too many games that are themed around World War II. Now, there's also, of course, been a ton that are modern era games. The thing with modern era games is there's so much more you can do because, hey, we're in the modern times, right? We've progressed. We're not all running around with a Thompson or an M1 Grand and that's it, right? Nobody in World War II had different optics, fucking foregrips, compensators, muzzle brakes, different magazines on their guns. They handed you an M1 Grand. They said, get on the fucking boat and storm the beach, right? I mean, it was that simple.
True.
So to me, World War II games have zero replayability. I'm sick of them. I'm bored of them. Just stop. Nobody is asking for a World War II games ever. Nobody's been asking for them. Nobody asked for the last World War II game Sledgehammer made, and they still fucking made it, right?
True,
At this point, I would rather just play Modern Warfare because there's so many things they can add and do with modern era weapons. There's countless things. I mean, there's new real world weapons being released all the time, like that LMG we were just looking at. The 338 LMG. That's a new weapon in real life. You can't do that with World War II games. You get stuck using the same old guns. There's no variety. It's boring. It's dull.
True.
So to me, this is a huge mistake. But also, if it's just multiplayer and doesn't affect Warzone, doesn't really matter because COD multiplayer is essentially just about dead at this point.
Yeah.
So as long as they have things that can somehow transfer over to Warzone, again, I don't know how they would successfully. I don't want a World War II game. And of course, this guy seems to be believable. You know somebody's legit when they haven't tweeted in 4 months, and the first thing they tweet is just a picture of COD World War II with a hammer icon indicating sledgehammer, and everyone goes nuts over it. You know this guy must be legit, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
I looked at his profile. I actually think the last tweet before that, like I'm not exaggerating, was in like November or something.
Yeah.
So he's obviously one of those prominent leakers, not some bullshitter. So this seems to be confirmed, and I don't know.
Yeah.
If they put this shit up and we have like a really good modern era Battlefield game, that could be the last straw for COD multiplayer, actually. I mean, Warzone, I'm sure, would still be fine, but if Battlefield multiplayer is really, really good and then they put out a World War II mess, then I don't know. That's really bad for COD.
All excellent points. What I was thinking they should do is what we really need as Call of Duty fans is another World War in real life, World War III.
We do. Let's get to it.
And then we can make a lot more video games, right? Activision's a big player on the global stage. They could easily get some lobbyists, go, whatever, pay for a couple speeches from Vice President Kamala Harris, pay her $500,000 for a 10-minute speech.
President
Any
Kamala
Hillary
Harris.
Clinton's in the chat.
By the time this podcast is uploaded,
that's-
Joe Biden will probably be dead. So
Yes, in a video game, of course, that is of course true. And say, hey, let's go lob some missiles at fucking Russia or something. Let's start a World War III so that we have content for our next title in 2023. That's the real solution, right? That's of course the real solution. Now I'm joking, obviously. Yes, I agree with what you're saying. That you can't innovate with World War II games because they are a time in the past. Can't add guns. You can't add attachments. Yeah, there's not much you can do.
exactly.
You can't add different sophisticated movement.
Yeah, history's set in stone. There's nothing else we can do.
That is true. So interesting. I would be fine with a World War II multiplayer. It would be kind of boring, but if it played well, my shots registered, I could see enemy players on my screen, then I would have fun. It would be great.
True.
The problem I'm having is I know that they're going to want to integrate this into Warzone. So, but as you pointed out, rightfully, how are you going to integrate a Thompson versus a fucking, like, I don't know, M16 or an even newer gun, like I don't know, what's a new gun, a fucking M13 or something. I don't know guns, whatever, new shit. An
MP5, both
MP5.
kind of both SMGs or an UMP.
Fair.
They're both 45s.
Fair, yes, okay. So yeah, like how is that going to make any fucking sense? I don't know. So we will see how the Warzone integration goes with that. Is it possible that they release a World War II game and then they just don't integrate this one into Warzone? Because I unironically don't see how they could possibly integrate World War II guns into Warzone.
Well, they would stretch it. That's what I'm saying, is they would do it, but they would put a bunch of bullshit scopes and things on. That's the thing, is like, that's not fun when you're using weapon scopes for World War II weapons that weren't really a thing. It's like, yeah, maybe they existed back then, maybe. But hey, I've seen a lot of pictures of World War II. I've read some World War II books. I've seen a lot of movies. Do any of them ever have any sort of optic on like a Thompson, like you're saying? No, of course not. It wasn't a thing. The only difference was they had a regular magazine or a drum magazine. That was the only different thing you would ever see with those.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then it's just, it's like, okay, cool. I'm going to put a 3 times optic on this gun, even though this never was a real thing. I don't know. It's boring to me.
I agree. I think they will, like you said, probably stretch it, but man, it's going to be rough. It's going to be real rough. They couldn't do an integration with gun. They couldn't do an integration from any era, but they had an extra hard time with Cold War era, let alone fucking 1940s era.
Yeah.
We'll fucking see. Not super promising. So I like World War II era multiplayer though, but I didn't play as much of it as you did, so I can understand you and many veterans are fucking sick to death of World War II.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing the whole Medal of Honor series, Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2. You know, it was all, growing up, it was all World War II.
Yeah. Yeah, all the popular first-person shooters in the beginning were all fucking World War II.
What was the other big one that rivaled? There was
Medal
Call
of
of Duty,
Honor.
Medal of Honor. What was the other? There was another shooter, wasn't there?
Yeah, fuck me. What
That was
it?
World War II.
Was it Battlefield? No.
Oh, well, Battlefield was a World War II game. Yeah, Battlefield 1942. Yeah.
I think there was one more. I can't think of it either. Maybe it was just Medal of Honor. I don't know. But yes, very interesting.
Yeah.
So a lot to think about there. We'll probably get more information on that in the coming months, and we will keep you, of course, apprised on that. So last news item pertaining to coming back to 2020-21. Cold War and Warzone starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the correct time zone, of course, on February 19th, which is Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Double XP and double Battle Pass XP. And this ends February 22nd at 10 a.m. So this weekend, if you're pushing for tier 100, which you should probably do, or at least get close to for the Mac 10 blueprint, the iron sights are way better. Make sure you take advantage of the double Battle Pass XP. Get in on that and get going, as they say.
Yeah, I finally finished my Battle Pass. Jakedown had his done the second day.
What a god. So
Nerd.
Well,
Fucking nerd.
Jake
We need
Dan
to
is,
bring
of
back
course, a nerd.
the word nerd needs to come back in full force.
True.
We're bringing
I
it
agree.
back, you fucking nerd.
Yeah. I like nerd. It's a great
It's a good word.
Good word. So, anyways, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's not as demeaning as I usually like. You know, I usually like worse words. We'll move on. Want to get doxed here, T-West?
Yeah, let's for sure move on before Tanner gets my Twitch channel banned. So, anything else you wanted to add, TDS?
Nope.
Okay. In that case, go live now.
Oh, maybe.
Well, you're gonna fucking go live, and I'm gonna read iTunes reviews. So, if you rate the fucking podcast 5 stars on iTunes, and you write a review along with that rating, I will read it, like I'm going to do right the fuck now. This first one is from Dutchy Dill. Change it, of course. The title of this review is Change It Appropriately. And it reads, besides the fact that I'm very intimidated by Razanon's massive guns in his red dress and Tanner's mustache.
You are fake news.
Looks like
True.
a stain in my underpants. Of course, true.
Okay.
This program is the best scam around. You guys are two professionals that take this program seriously enough to provide actual tips, but laid back enough to banter back and forth constantly. Y'all are super easy to listen to while I work my mediocre job, and super stoked I started listening around episode 11. Well, you're a little late on writing the fucking review, Dutchy, but we'll take it. Late is better than, of course, never. That's an old frog, by the way. Episode 11 is a long-ass time. Long-ass time, so shout out to you, sir. Been a ghost the entire time due to my mediocre pay at my mediocre job. Shout out to Hank Swift for the gifted. Hell yeah, Hank Swift. Thank you, buddy. But I've told every soul I play COD with about the program. Keep it up, homies. You're killing it. And also, please don't say we are live so limp, you scammer. I almost stopped listening to the pod 5 seconds into the first F because of that cringe Razanon we are live, but it started to make me lol since you were so consistent. Dutch Master Dill. Also changed that. So, okay. Hey, your feedback has been noted, Dutch, and glad to have you here. Longtime listener, obviously. Much love. Appreciate it. Write the review fucking sooner for the next podcast you listen to, but we, of course, appreciate the analytics, you stupid bitch. And now, from Walk Greg. Cutting it real close here, Gregory. Title of this review is Best Podcast, which is, of course, true. Easily the best podcast. Tanner and Raz are very relatable and easy to listen to. Always good for some laughs, and they keep it 100, which is, of course, true. COD makes me want to shoot myself some days in-game, of course. Thank you. And listening to these guys makes my day 10 times better. 10 out of 10 would recommend stay humble. Stay humble indeed, Gregory. Thank you very much for the kind words, sir. And of course, the analytics. I appreciate it. Once again, rate us 5 fucking stars on iTunes. It helps for the analytics. Write a review if you want as well. You can write whatever the fuck you want, and I will read it on the broadcast, as they say. So, with that said, we're gonna wrap this bitch up. We're gonna get some dubs in Verdansk. You know, you can find us places. Hey, okay, I updated the show notes. Go look at them. How about that? That's the plug. Go look at the show notes. All the updated shit is there.
I need to make one closing announcement here, though.
Okay.
If I don't get a single offline sub by the Saturday podcast, we're not starting the podcast. It's that simple. So one of you take your fucking Prime sub, give it to me offline, and we'll go forth with the program. Of course, it's going to be an award-winning program. A part 2 to an already astounding, award-winning piece of media.
True.
So, hey, we just won't do it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Figure it out.
Yeah, well, thank you, Tanner, for the addendum. We will for sure
You're
keep
welcome.
that in mind. I would like to do all about Warzone Part 2, so maybe if you guys have a Prime sub lying around, go give it to twitch.tv/Tanner Dropshot. But more importantly, the best way to support the program, besides offline priming to Tanner Dropshot's Twitch, the real best way, of course, patreon.com/thedropshot. You get the most out of it. We get the most out of it. $5 a month, 4 bonus eps a month. You get access to all the past bonus episodes. We're done with like 25 now. A lot of extra content for only $5 United States dollars. It goes a long way, longer than you guys think. We are fueled by our patrons, and we very much appreciate them. So consider doing that. We got the weekly hangouts as well. You can see, again, the website for more details. Patreon.com/thedropshot. And with that said, a special thank you to the lifeblood of this program, the real ones, as some might say, our Damascus patrons. Mr. Sal Manila, J. Pritch, Slivovitz, 91, Jake Down, Zerosio, Tequila Sir Rockingbird, Face Esquire, Gift Curse, Adam H., Jimbo Slice, Von Trapp, Qui-Gon Ron, okay, I like it, Aussie Menace, Vesturge, Goatidote, Meet a 12-year-old, Papa Shitto, Andrew H., Civ, Chef Kane, Blackbeard, Dr. J. Webb, Nick Can, Derek R., Wade M., shout out to Wade, It's the Pickle, That Dirty Clap, KJS Toys, Killicam, One-Handed, 89, Garrett S., Jada Pinkett, Lemur Party, Freeze, The Dave Daily, C. Brown, Rita Book, Deacon Cheese, Dubfire, 33, Sage Legacy, Rizzle Music, Young Bjorn, Total Toad, Cody O, Cope Cowboy, Chris Baclair, Thomas L, Blake C, Lavana Fair, Brian P, Jaron G, Maxi, Sam G, Shigo Hart, Ruguru, V2, Down Like Syndrome, Oz, Ted, Boomer, Proud Dad, Todd S, McBango, Hank Swift, L2K Greatness, Flex Stepdad, Turtle, Get Scammed, Big Rec 44, Chad G, I Love Modern Warfare, which is of course a change it, Steven S, Hank Scorpio, see you later, boy. The Drop Mechanic, okay. Brutimus, Kelly Ab, Ryan S, SP Farms, The Crop Shot, Simple Name 8, Venlu, Sam V, he's not One Shot Bro, aka One Shot, Caden K, Soul Drinker 1. I can't believe you haven't changed it yet. Really, please. It's offensive to me, bro. I love you. I appreciate your patronage, of course. But Soul Drinker?
What's wrong with that?
What isn't wrong with it, Tanner?
You're a hater, bro.
Well, that's perhaps true. I've had worse. I actually haven't. Razanon might be worse. It doesn't matter. Soul Drinker. Grim29, Ben H, Jacob E, Christopher C, Raging Dusty, Dynamite Joker, Rastafan, Dylan W, and an extra special thank you to our one and only Obsidian patron. By the way, if you want to vacate this seat, you are free to, sir. The Dropshot Patriarch, the vaping Viking. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching, of course. Have an excellent evening. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Stay humble.
Jesus Christ.
Like that one, just like, I don't give a fuck, stay humble, whatever.
That was so abrupt.
I thought I'd just mix things up.
You mixed it up for sure. That surprised the shit out
Don't
of
care,
me.
stay humble, I don't fucking care.
Okay, well, anyways.
My body's itchy, I had too much G Fuel.
Oh no, the pre-workout
What do you mean,
itchies.
oh no? What do you mean, oh no? I'm gonna frickin' shred kids, bro.
I just hate that
oh,
feeling.
no.
I've had that before.
Oh, it feels awful.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst.
It's fine.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe because in addition to full episodes like this, we've also got clips from the show, as well as gameplay breakdowns and more on the channel. The show is streamed live on twitch.tv/Razanon every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So give us a follow over there, make sure to turn on notifications, and you can chat with us live during the podcast. And of course, we are available wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for the Dropshot on your favorite podcast app and make sure to give us a follow. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. And as always, remember, stay humble.